What's up guys, this is Magnolia Mo and today we are going to talk about the Arylic B50 Bluetooth stereo amplifier. So what is this tiny little thing right here? It's tiny. It is a desktop amplifier, alright? It is a desktop amplifier. It has pretty much all the connections that you could possibly use, right, and more. Number one, it is Bluetooth, so you can pair up to two headphones, Bluetooth headphones with this particular amplifier, right? It is a Class D amplifier, okay? It is 2 times 50 watts, so 50 watts per channel into 4 ohms, and 30 watts per channel into 8 ohms. So again, it is it's a desktop amplifier, right? So what that means is it's meant for near field listening, no more than 5 feet away, right? I mean, I wouldn't go and set this up, you know, in your home theater and power like 2 large speakers. You have your volume control right here, right? That you can turn when you press the volume knob. The mode will change, right? So it's gonna go between the DAC. It does have a USB DAC, but at $139 you're not going to get full resolution DSD, MQA capabilities, and so on and so forth. It is limited to 48 kilohertz sampling rate and PCM only. You have a USB connection, which is right here. It's meant for a direct USB connection into a PC, or you can connect a USB storage device right here, right? And then ARC. That is the most interesting thing I've seen, right? In a desktop amplifier this size, right? So it does have HDMI with ARC capability, but the HDMI or the ARC is limited to PCM only, which means you will have to go into your TV menu and, you know, remove it from bit streaming or Dolby Digital or whatever your TV has, right, and change it to PCM. Then you can use the HDMI for ARC with a single HDMI connection. Again, limited to PCM only, not even legacy Dolby Digital DTS, just PCM only. So with ARC, you know, you can use the CEC functionality, right, which is turning, you know, you can just with the remote turn off the TV remote, turn off this amplifier, or with the remote control that this thing comes with, turn off the amplifier and at the same time turn off the TV. Now, so that's the ARC, very interesting, but it's limited, right? Optical, that is what I used, you know, for my listening, and the reason why I used is the optical has full resolution up to 192 kilohertz, so 24-bit 192 kilohertz. That is, to me, is the real application for this, right? Because it is a desktop amplifier, you can hook it up into your PC or into your laptop, connect it via the optical, like I did, and run Tidal, you know, on your PC, laptop, and Tidal is gonna play, you know, all the tracks up to their maximum resolution, right, up to 192 kilohertz. It's not gonna do MQA because there is no MQA, you know, unfolding or decoding built into this particular DAC. But at $139, I'm not looking for one, right? So the optical is what I use for all of my listening. It does have the phono. The phono input right here is for an MMC turntable cartridge with a grounding, you know, terminal right here. So you can connect a turntable to this and listen to your desktop speakers and enjoy some vinyl. It's got 2 Bluetooth antennas right here. To me, you know, this is, again, you know, if you're looking for a small desktop 2-channel amplifier to save space, this is a very good product in my opinion, where you can actually hook it up to your desktop speakers and enjoy good quality sound. To test the overall frequency response, I used the OmniMic system. I ran the frequencies, the short sweeps, using the Arylic and the Martin Logan combination first, and then I ran the same short sweeps using the Pioneer Elite and the Martin Logan Motion Force. And as you can see here, the overall output or the frequency response is exactly the same, right? There are some differences in the high frequencies. The black curve is the Arylic curve, and the red curve is the Pioneer Elite curve, right? So the Arylic is slightly, I don't know if you consider that slight, like if you look at the 10 kilohertz frequency, the Arylic is at about 68.4 dBs. The Pioneer Elite is at 67.1 dBs, right? Yeah, so just a little bit of a difference in the high frequencies, and that could just be the fact that the Arylic, you know, at this particular juncture is starting to go into that distortion range. I don't know, but to me, it's not a big difference, right, in the overall sound signature, especially when you look at the mid bass and the mid range frequencies, right? They're identical as far as the response is concerned. The 70 hertz roll off at about 71 hertz is when I'm sorry, at 70 hertz, 70.34 hertz is where I see the roll off, and that's according to Martin Logan. That is the Motion Force roll off as well. 70 hertz is where they start to roll off, plus or minus 3 dB. So it's pretty good from a overall frequency response. I mean, I don't consider this a change in the overall response of the speaker. I've heard from other reviewers, right, that I've watched reviews online where they talk about these small desktop amplifiers actually altering the sound, right? I don't see any of that happening here, which is a good thing for the Arylic. All right, so let's talk about the Go Control app. I mean, it was very easy to download from the App Store, and once it's downloaded, you know, all you have to do is basically pull it up, select, you know, the amplifier, and this is the screen that pops up. You have your overall volume control, pause, play, and then volume control. You can click to pair up to 2 Bluetooth headphones, and you know, for 2 different people to listen to the same content. Then you have your audio source, so you got your Bluetooth line in, phono, optical, ARC, USB. You got some quick sound settings. You can manually adjust your treble, mid-range, bass, balance, you know, maximum volume, crossover if you have a subwoofer, and then deep bass, which I turned off anyways. And then you have some, you know, overall just some preset EQ modes: flat, classical, pop, jazz, vocal. I left it on flat for pretty much all of my listening. And then you can manually create your own custom EQ curve in here if you want to. Like, you can adjust the equalizer settings and add your own. It is a 7-band graphic equalizer, I believe. And then in the end, you just have some basic settings in the setting menu. Love, 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 For music, I listen to all my familiar recordings from on Tidal, and I connected my EVGA sound card using the optical output into the Arylic. The Arylic does not have an MQA renderer, so anytime I was playing an MQA file, the Tidal desktop application was basically playing the track up to its full resolution, up to 192 kilohertz, because that's all the optical can handle, right? So if it was Crazy Love by Van Morrison, which is 192 kilohertz, that's what I got on the Arylic. If it was Michael Jackson's Thriller, Billie Jean, for instance, it's a 96 kilohertz encoded track. That's what the desktop application played it at. So I listened to Van Morrison, Norah Jones, Come Away With Love. I also listened to the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse movie soundtrack, not the music soundtrack. My Name is Miles Morales. and that sounded just as good as I'm used to listening to it, you know, on my headphones or even on my speakers or my regular theater speakers over here. Obviously, there was it was the Motion 4s that I was listening to, but I was primarily listening for mid-range, mid-bass, maybe, and the highs, right? And I didn't get the feeling that the highs were being rolled off, as you saw on the frequency response chart as well. And the highs were clear, were crisp, they were not glassy at all. And then I listened to Brothers in Arms album, right, from Dire Straits. That sounded really good. I also listened to, and then I actually did a comparison with the Pioneer Elite playing on the Martin Logan montage speakers. But there I was listening for the mids and the highs, right? If there was any difference from the Pioneer Elite versus the Arylic. Obviously, the Pioneer Elite had more definition, had more body to the track, right? But that's because I was playing it on much larger speakers. I also then watched some streaming content, right? Using Netflix, and then some of the movies that I have on my PC using just those two speakers in the Arylic. It also sounded dynamic.
I need a favor, brother. You're the only one I trust for this. Hey, bitches! You think you can come after my money, huh?
What are my final thoughts of this Arylic 2-channel desktop amplifier, right? It has a place, right, in this world, right? And the place, in my opinion, is on a desktop set up with your computer and your passive speakers, right? This particular amplifier, being that it's only $139, if you have good quality speakers lying around, this is a must own, right, in my opinion, because it does not alter the sound vastly, right, that like folks have talked about. It is still enjoyable. Obviously, I'm not going to listen to it at high volumes to get into that distortion range, right? And from a connectivity standpoint, it's got all the inputs for $139, right? It's, to me, it's a no-brainer. I do recommend this product to folks who are going to use it in a desktop setting, right? I do not recommend it for a home theater setting, for instance, obviously, because it doesn't have the power to drive good speakers. For that reason, I recommend the setup with this particular amplifier as a desktop amplifier, where you can maximize the sound stage, right? Because you are sitting so close to your speakers, you can hear the full resolution. Throughout my listening, the voices were anchored in the middle. With the two speakers on the side, the voices were anchored in the middle. I was surprised to actually hear the really good imaging and the phantom center that it was creating, right, for me when I was watching some streaming content as well as listening to some music. So I do, all in all, I do recommend this product. It comes with its caveats. Like I said, you can't connect it into a home theater setting, and you cannot power speakers that are power hungry with it, because it's only 30 watts per channel for 8 ohms and 50 watts into 4 ohms. But for a desktop setting, it's a great 2-channel amplifier to have. So I hope you guys liked this video. I'd love to hear your feedback. If you've tried this particular desktop amplifier or others, I want to know what your thoughts are, and I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. And until then, if you are not subscribed, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, hit that like button and feel free to share it with others, and I will see you guys in the next one.